Hi, everybody. This is the weekly workplace win. My name is Colin Cochran. The feedback you need, aren't getting, and what to actually do about it. Your manager isn't holding back because they don't care. They're holding back because nobody trained them to say the hard things. That's not your problem, but it is your problem to solve. Something's been bothering me for a while, and I've been collecting the research to back it up before I said it out loud. Here it is, the single biggest thing standing between you and the career you expected, the one you worked hard for, the one that felt like a reasonable next step after everything you'd built in school early in your career, is feedback you're simply not getting. Not the fluffy, great job and on the presentation kind, the real kind, the kind that tells you what your manager actually thinks. What's being said in calibration meetings, what's quietly keeping you off the short list, the kind that you could actually change the trajectory if you received it, and it usually arrives, if it arrives at all, at your annual review when it's too late to do anything about it. This week, why that's happening, what it's costing you, and three actions you can take this week to stop depending on a system that was never designed to actually develop you. So here's the situation. You think you know what you're doing, but you probably don't. Sounds familiar? You've been in the role for about 14 months. You show up, you deliver, you're engaged in meetings, you hit your deadlines, you go beyond what's actually asked when something important's on the line. You feel like you're doing well, maybe even really well. Your annual review actually is in 6 weeks, and you go in expecting something close to what you've been telling yourself all year. And then the actual rating comes back, meets expectations. No specifics, no context, no real conversation about what exceeds would have looked like, just a rating, a number, and a forward looking set of goals that somehow don't quite address anything you thought mattered. You leave the meeting with a distinct feeling that you didn't know the rules of the game you were being evaluated on, and nobody told you until the final score was actually locked in. This isn't an edge case. This is actually the norm. Here's what the numbers say: 98% of employees disengage when they receive little or no feedback. Employees who actually get daily feedback from their manager are 3.5 times more likely to feel motivated and excel. Only 1 in 5 employees receive weekly feedback from their manager, yet roughly half of all managers believe they provide it all the time. Nearly a third of employees wait more than 3 months to receive any feedback at all. Only 10% of employees who were underperforming were actually informed before it became formally consequential. 74% of young workers find traditional annual reviews inadequate, because 58% have actually considered leaving the job specifically because of non transparent performance processes. And lastly, 91% of workers with a committed coach, a mentor, report being satisfied with their jobs. And 57% actually reporting they were really satisfied. So, in all of this, you're not alone. Here's what doesn't work: waiting, hinting, hoping. The most common approach workers take is the passive one. Assume that if you're doing something wrong, someone's going to tell you. You work hard, you keep your head down, and trust the system to surface what you need to know. I want to be genuinely honest with you about this as an experienced manager, not just as a coach. Most managers don't give hard feedback, not because they don't see the problems, but because the conversation is frankly just uncomfortable. Think about what a difficult feedback conversation actually requires: precise language, emotional regulation, time, and the willingness to sit in the discomfort of watching someone react to something that actually stings. Most managers were never trained to do that. Their own managers weren't trained to do it either. So the default is actually silence or vague positivity that leaves you feeling good but tells you nothing actually useful. I live this. As a manager, I had a full plate, my team, my numbers, my own performance pressures, a deep, honest conversation about someone's blind spots. It really wasn't at the top of my list. I'm not proud of that. And it took me a long time to truly understand that honest feedback is a gift and that you can deliver hard truths from a place of genuine care, and that doing so in one is one of the most important things a leader can do. But most managers aren't there yet. And if you're watching for them to come to you, you might actually wait for a long time. There's another problem layered on top of all of this: recency bias. Your manager is mostly weighing in the last 60 or 90 days. Those wins from Q1 or 3 quarters ago, your spring push, the project that you were quietly held together, where you quietly held everything together. Sad to say, those are already gone from the mental model. What sticks is just what's happened. And the hardest part, you probably don't know what you don't know. Without regular, honest input, you can't actually accurately calibrate your own standing. The emotional energy that goes into managing that uncertainty is actually enormous. And it's wasted energy that could be going into something actually more important, like you actually getting better. So here's what works better: stop waiting for a system that wasn't actually built for you. Here's the reframe I want you to sit with: this is not a you problem. The feedback infrastructure of the modern workplace is architecturally not designed for your development. Annual reviews, conflict adverse managers, calibration processes you're not party to. This is the structural reality, and it's not personal. But it is for you to solve, because nobody else is going to actually solve it for you. The worker who gets ahead, the workers who get ahead are the ones who figured out how to build their own feedback loop consistently, proactively, and without waiting for permission. So here's how you do that. One, find peer feedback partners. One honest conversation, no HR involved. The research is clear on this. Peer relationships produce the most honest, most frequent, and most psychologically safe feedback that a manager subordinate channel, because there's no power differential to navigate. Your manager has no consequences attached to what they say. A peer doesn't. That changes everything about the quality of what you actually hear. Find one person inside your company or outside of it who will do a straight trade with you. You tell them what you honestly see, they tell you what they honestly see. No performance review, no HR, no career risk. See it as a recurring monthly check in. Put it in your calendar right now. When you have the conversation, ask these questions. Where do you think I'm leaving impact on the table? What's one thing that I can do that undermines my own credibility, even unintentionally? If you were my manager and had to give me one honest piece of advice, what would that be? Those three questions will tell you more than an annual performance review. They feel uncomfortable to ask. I get that. But ask them anyway. Two, ask your manager one specific question, and it's not how I'm doing. You can't control how often your manager gives you feedback, but you can control how often you ask, and the way you ask is everything. How am I doing invites a non answer. It's too broad and too easy to deflect with, "You're doing great. Keep it up." Woof. I've actually used that a lot. Replace it with a small, targeted question tied to real work. Use one of these in your next one on one. What's the one thing I could do in the next 30 days to have more impact on this specific priority? Is there anything you're seeing, even something small, that I should be paying more attention to? Lastly, my favorite: what am I missing? What don't I know that I probably should? Pick one, ask it, then listen without defending. The goal is to break the silence and establish a pattern with your manager. Three, start your wins doc today. It takes 15 minutes and changes your entire year. Recency bias is real and it is working against you right now. You need to stop relying on anyone else's memory to represent your performance, and that includes your own memory. Open a new document, title it Work Wins. Add 3 accomplishments from the last 6 months. For each one, use the STAR method and write a single sentence that includes what was the situation and task, what you specifically did, and what the measurable result was. Not not I improved team communication on the product launch, but something like When cross functional delays threatened our Q2 launch timeline, I implemented daily stand ups and a shared tracking doc. We delivered 2 weeks early with a 23% review beat in 1 month. Set a monthly calendar and remind yourself to update it. 5 minutes, once a month, that's it. This document fights recency bias at review time. And again, even yours. It gives you ammunition to feedback conversations and shows you clearly over time where your real impact lives. So, this week's challenge, do all three of these things before Friday. Name your peer feedback partner, text them, email them, set the first conversation within the next 2 weeks. Pick the one question from the list above and ask it at your next one-on-one. Don't wait for the perfect moment, just ask the question and see where the conversation goes. Open the new document and title it Work Wins and add 3 accomplishments with impact numbers. Set a monthly recurring reminder so that you don't forget about. And all three of these things are going to take you less than 45 minutes to do, but they will change the quality of your feedback for the rest of the year. So this could be you. Imagine it's your next performance review, but this time you walked in prepared. You have your wins doc with 6 months of documented impact, specific, numbered, tied to priorities your manager told you actually mattered because you asked. Your peer feedback partner told you 3 months ago that you were coming across as a little bit defensive in cross functional meetings. And I'll say that's me sometimes. So you worked on it, and your stakeholder relationships visibly improved. When your manager finished talking, you asked, "Is there anything else that surprises you or that I should have known sooner?" The rating doesn't blindside you because you already knew, not because the system got better, but because you stopped waiting for the system to come along for you. That's not a fantasy. That actually happens all the time when you build your own feedback infrastructure while everyone else hopes theirs materialize. I've seen it plenty of times. That can be you, but it starts this week with 3 very small things. Reply it and tell me, what's your toughest workplace challenge right now? I read every single reply. Your real situation shapes this newsletter more than anything else. Be well, be good, take good care. I'm Coach Colin.